This is Justin AMZN on Wednesday, January 2nd, 2019. Happy New Year. I'm doing an actual video during the same day to start out the year, which is pretty cool. This is what happened today. We had a massive bullish move, came right into some of our lines, bounced nicely, cleared resistance, came back, retested, and then did this double bounce thing up here towards the end of the day and just kind of petered out at the end of the day. So what was really phenomenal is the pre-market and the open. And real early on, right as the pre-market was opening, it put in a low at 1461.42 and then held that low pre-market here and then held it again here. And then as the market opened, it wicked down slightly past that price and put in this very strong bullish candle, getting back above, our line here at 1468. The very next candle came back down, wicked down here. I was looking at option then and got in. I set it up to buy the 1525 calls for 850 and a stop at 750, which was a little bit further down here. So I'll show you that in just a sec here. But it filled at 795 and then had another candle that made this little wick down below that line. And then the rest of the day was just off to the races. I had my target set at 24, which was right around, right around this kind of neckline here on this double top from Monday's price. And then by the time the $24 price hit on the option today, it was actually closer to these upper wicks, really kind of closer to the resistance here from Monday, which I thought was really phenomenal that it came right into that price, pulled back a little bit, and then bounced. That was a short-term retest, longer-term retest, and then continued on higher. That I wasn't sure it was going to push through that. I mean, the way that this launched from below and continued on up, it's like, okay, just this run was a bullish engulfing candle. It started out, Monday was a bearish candle, so a gap down would be a bearish retest, but it was just too strong in this level, holding this level. This looked like a little double bottom in here that then actually broke out, retest the neckline, right through here, and then continued on up. The only thing I got a little bit cautious on was this price right here as it was coming into Monday's support here and kind of here. So I tightened up my stop from down here, locked in some gain, trailed it. So my stop was up like in this level. And somehow this lower wick stopped me out. So we'll jump over to the options. This is, again, the 1525. You can see the price. I set it up, I think, during this candle for 850 by 750. And so I just wanted to, get something set up so it was, a little bit below this bullish candle. So 750 was my stop, and then 850 was the entry, just being $1 above that. And it filled at 795, which I thought was really crazy. Like, I could have done more getting that kind of fill. And then, at first it looked like, okay, it's not really moving too much, but, it was in this range for 15 minutes and then it broke out. And so I think it was on one of these candles here. It's like, oh, it's coming up into that support. That could be a new resistance, not on the option, but on the stock. So I tightened up my stop to 1050. Again, I put the stop at 1050 to stay a little bit below where the price was on these candles and to give it some wiggle room. Well, the low on this candle was 11, but I got stopped out and it stopped me out at 1030. So the stop got hit at 1050 somehow. It doesn't make any sense to me how. And then actually got filled at 1030. So going from 1030 minus 795, that's 235 with a $100 risk. I made 2.35 R, which is great. It's still great, but I should not have been stopped out. And actually, I should have hit my target right here when it came to 24 and was coming up right into that neckline price. And instead, I should have had 24 minus about 8, from the fill, that's 16. I should have had a 16R trade. And it, for whatever reason, it stopped me out here or trailed me out here for a gain. And it's just like, really? That's what's going to happen the first day of the year? It's like, okay, I'll take the 2R. I faded that because, I just had this, it had this look that this was going to just be strong. So I faded, that move here, so I was happy to get a little more than 2R, but it should have been way more than 2R. It should have been like 16R coming in up here. I mean, we hardly paused at these lines. This one being the downtrend line that we were kind of bouncing off of the other day, or running up into the other day, and then kind of dancing around on Monday. And then we came into that and just totally bounced from there. And then, just the way that these moved in the lines, it's like, wow, I did not expect that to happen. I thought, okay, this is, if this goes bullish, it should take some time today and get up to that 24 price. But I did not expect it to continue on up and hit 1550. So, the option I was in was the 1525. Had it been on a Friday, that would have been $25 in the money. But being Wednesday, and there's still 2 more days of theta decay, it hit the $25 price, right in here. And I don't know that I would have been watching it to move my target up anymore. But 24 turned out to be a really nice target because it paused here, came back to 22, and then ran back up to pretty much the highs from Monday's candles. The 5 minutes in here, they came up, pushed slightly above 28, didn't quite get as high as 30 in here, 31 in here, kind of went into the midpoint of those, and then that pulled back all the way to 20, and then rallied right back up there and jogged and ended up putting a high on the option at 1245, and that was this candle. So that was the option high, was right here, and then the rest of the day it just kind of chopped, and put in this double top. So I mean, once it hit this one, it didn't even get back up to that same price on this candle. People were shorting it here, so that's at 1020. So looking at a put at 1020. So here we are at 1020. This is the 1450 put that somebody could have been buying, but I mean, that it's so far out of the money, it's going the wrong direction. You wouldn't even have made many R's on that. So you'd have to be a little closer. So maybe 1550. 1550 put. Let's sit back in on this. So that was, did I say 1020? Oh, back here. Okay. So 1020. Oh, that would have been way too expensive. $40. 1500 maybe. That's got a lot more volume going on. So 1020 was right here. That's still 13. That would have been hard to do to take that bearish. So yeah, I'm not sure what would have actually been good to do there, other than just staying bullish and riding this. And I was looking for a good point. Once I got trailed out here and got a gain, it's like, okay, well, where do I get in? Because I had that great entry down here, buying near the low of the day and looking to exit, near a high. I mean, that would have been phenomenal if that worked out. But it's the beginning of a new year. I know I'm going to get a lot more of those opportunities. And I just, I don't know why it trailed me out here. This is in the virtual account. I don't know why it worked differently. I don't know if the actual wick down here somehow, really did cross the option price, like cause the option to kind of post a lower price to sell. That must be what happened. And because I was in the virtual account, it just showed up as being, the right time for hitting that price, but there wasn't an actual contract for sale at, the 1030 or 1050 price. The lowest here was 11. So that was the lowest somebody was actually putting in a price to sell, like a limit sell. So that could have had a factor. But I was just still really happy with the setup that I had, looking for this to rally off this line, get in aggressively, and get out at a clear pivot up here. Clear pivots from last trading day, Monday. So we'll continue to do a lot more of this year, tracking how this moves with the options. The other thing I'll point out is zooming back out a little bit. We were interacting with this line. We actually did come back down after hours and touch that. So it's a really good price. I mean, we've got this kind of uptrend here. We've had this downtrend. We've touched a few times. Like, this is a really interesting level. We didn't really pause much here today, but after hours bouncing there, it'll be really interesting to see if we can continue on up from this line, for Thursday. And let's see if I can draw this in real quick. See what's going on down here. Not sure what the right angle would be. Something. I like that being like an apex, but I'm not really seeing that fit. So I guess we'll go like that. And then we'll move this end a little bit to see. No, it's just cutting across. I'm not crazy about that. I was hoping something would line up on the bottom side like this, but it just doesn't really seem like it's doing that. So obviously it's been moving up bullish. It's a little better. I kind of like that. Okay, if you go like that, like it pushed through that one, it held this, held that, pushed through this slightly. Now it's kind of holding that. So work. It's still a little bit off. Yeah, I gotta cut it a little bit. That doesn't quite get there. Anyway, just trying to fit a line. It'd be interesting if we can stay above this. Pre-market open in somewhere in these 4 lines here tomorrow, and then continue a rally, continue on up. So we'll see. Or if we break down below that, look for some of these lines in here to hold again. Like this one to possibly hold better than this lower wick, and it just needs a little bit more of a pullback before it gets going again. So I'm still looking for a move up into the 1600s. Looking at the idea of this inverted head and shoulders here. I thought today was a great move to help that to continue to happen. Looking at the daily, you can see this is clearly a bullish engulfing candle. This is starting to look like a bit of a V bottom, which you've had 1, 2, maybe 3. So, I mean, it could totally happen again. Not saying it's going to, but, there's been this precedence already to do that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens this week. And also if we can build up some momentum. We're losing that bearish momentum here, which is what we were doing on, this side of the V bottom and this side of the V bottom. After a couple of days, we started losing that momentum once it had a lot of bullishness. But, still, all of this is still lower highs, lower lows. And so it really doesn't have to continue to push that much higher. It pushed right up into the 21 exponential. We didn't really pause there anywhere on the way down. We pushed through it. So we did slightly push through this a little bit. So we're slightly through it. We pushed through it nicely here, nicely here. So, something different is kind of happening if this is pausing. This could totally be a really nice flag here on a bearish move. This is the flag, and we're going to get ready to roll over. So we'll see if, this pullback after hours would, contribute to this starting to roll over. So, I mean, it very well could. Looking at this from a bearish perspective, this is definitely a double top with kind of a neckline retest, a secondary one here. And then to see this sell off so much after hours, really, it could reverse here. So trap a bunch of bulls and, end up going lower again. So, we'll just see where things open in the morning and watch for an interaction with a key level to hold or to break down, and try what the chart shows. So hope you enjoyed this video. Again, happy New Year, and This is Justin Amazon. Thanks.